Coming up, we're revealing all the secrets of the morning show. Morning show success, what happens behind the scenes, and a bunch of other stuff for men. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends coming up right now. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
When something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting Sean.
If the lady's saying that, you're
Being as a super
be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
There we go, you guys. What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning, nation. We're back at it here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Good morning, Kian. I see you there in the comments. You were knocking on my door this morning trying to sell me something. I appreciate you joining the show this morning. Happy birthday, Akisha Nicole. Yes, Jimmy's daughter got a day older yesterday because they're in the future. We're going to here to wish her a happy birthday today. Hey, I'm your host. I'm Keith Pellis. I'm the host of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And we got Jimmy over there managing the buttons. We got Johnny over there. Johnny's getting ready to get in the show here. We got Marty coming in as well here. Big show here today. We're talking behind the scenes secrets, what's happening. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to help you guys get your ass going into bed here. Jimmy, do I got some video pausing going on here? I feel like I'm stuttering on the video, but I don't know if that's happening or not. Well, you guys can tell me that if that's happening. I feel like I'm stuttering on my side of the video. So we're going to see if it's going to keep rolling here. If there's a challenge, we're going to reset it. But Jimmy, let's bring the boys in. Let's start the conversation. Let's start the show. What is up, gentlemen? How are you guys today? 24 hours later, we are back in the loop.
What's happening, baby?
How are you?
Good, doing good.
What's
Today's a recovery day. My body needs it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Good morning, Jeremy Cunningham. Behind the scenes magic, brother. You nailed it. Consistency. Even Matt Kundle said it last week. He's like, boys, I admire the fact you guys show up every single day. I'm like, yeah, well, this is our show. This is our product. This is what we do. It's like, this is what we do. We show up every day. So,
hey, Keith, you're a little choppy, man. Your screen. Yeah,
I got you okay, brother. But real quick, you know what's weird about this whole? It's admirable. We do it every day. When the fuck did doing something every day become so fucking special?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Keith. I'm just trying to look out. Your voice is fine, but your actual thing is choppy. So I just want to let you know before you continue the show.
You know, you're right, Mark. I could hear his voice, but he is doing a little robot. He looks like he's breakdancing.
Okay, boys. So you keep it going. I'm gonna come back and reset. Marty, keep it going, okay, brother. Keep the show rolling on here.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You guys go.
You know, Mark. The whole idea of the people being admirable or doing this every day. I think we learned that in our athletics because when you're an athlete, you do your craft every day.
Yep.
And that's just kind of the way it is. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing I learned is, that's a luxury for us. We got to show up every day. We don't have a choice or we can't perform. A lot of people that don't get that luxury, they've never had anything where they had to show up every day. So it's kind of like a culture shock to them. They don't. You can take your athletics and put it in a business and put it into your family, but a lot of people, they don't have that skill set.
Well, if we go back in time, there was a period where people knew how to do shit every day because it was part of keeping your head above water. As life got easier, people became more lazy and stopped doing their shit every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Pretty much, we're sheltered now. Like people don't realize, like we got it easy. We're good.
If you go far enough back in time, just getting something to eat was a really, really big high spot in your day. So when you had to go find something to eat, you got off your ass and you were looking for something to eat every day. All of a sudden, when we go into this position where surviving is so easy, we just got lazy as a motherfucker.
Yeah, you can just pull up the Jack in the Box now. Get a whole meal in 5 minutes.
Super
Definitely different
sized to
nowadays.
boot.
Right, exactly.
But I
Definitely,
guess
man.
on that level, it's the if you don't attach some sort of admiration or some sort of goal to doing something every day, that becomes kind of the status quo. The status quo is that people just kind of fall into this. I think human beings tend to, without some sort of a goal or an admiration or some sort of a hunger, they just
Yeah,
find the path of least resistance. You know what I mean? And taking care of themselves in many cases and doing something every day for that matter is a lot of times not part of that.
absolutely, man. How was your day yesterday when you got off the show, man?
It was good. It was good. I had a real good day. We're actually just a few days away from Terry's surgery, which is nice. She's getting
Okay.
surgery on Saturday morning. But
Okay.
yeah, she's been in a lot of pain. But the problem is pain pre-surgery. It's like pain that we don't really collect anything. It just leaks out the bottom of the bucket. Once the surgery
Mm-hmm.
happens, we plug all the holes in the bucket, and that pain actually leads to getting better.
Right, right.
Right now, it's just it's just wasted pain, and she wakes up every morning, hasn't slept well. Just she's kind of tattered. She's just so beat up. Have you ever had an injury that you were dealing with? Where I know I had one a surgery that I had to hold off on it. By the time I had that thing, man, I was just like I was done. I was like, get this over. I didn't care. My back, I was so jacked up. I was so immobile. I was like, there was no
Sheesh.
fear of the surgery. I was like, I just want to feel better.
Yeah. No, I get that, man. She probably ready for it like more than anything. And
Yeah.
luckily, yeah, I've never had any major surgeries. I've had a lot of injuries though, but
No shit. You never had a surgery.
never had a surgery. The only thing maybe like tonsils. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of injuries though, sprained ankles, fractures. But yeah, no surgeries. Thank God.
Yeah. This is actually Terry's first. She's
Oh
never had.
really?
Yeah, she's
Oh
never had
dang.
one before. This is like she was one of those. She's one of those crazies that I only know a few people like this. Never even fucking pulled a muscle. Never
Oh
had
nah.
any.
See, I'm not that lucky.
Yeah, I mean, she's got these like crazy genetics where, like, I got a buddy of mine, Mike O'Herney. He's been on every fucking cover of every magazine. He's done more fitness covers than anybody else. I guarantee you know who I'm talking about if you saw him. If you don't know the
Mhm.
name, he's older than me, 56 years old.
Mhm.
And the dude has never pulled a muscle, never had an injury his whole fucking life. And I mean, you look at him and you look at me, and I look like the little brother.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's crazy, man. You know what though? I thought like I probably got my first major injury at like 22, 21. But I thought I was invincible, Johnny. Like you couldn't tell me
Yeah.
shit. Like I never understood how people got hurt. And then from 22 on, I always had to be cautious and be careful, with what I do, So like now I got to get like a thorough warm up in. I got to do a cool down stretch. I don't want to get hurt again.
Well, I think I was probably I was a late bloomer, so everything for me is about 5 years behind.
Mhm.
So for 22 for you, I was more like it was like 26. I started to realize like, why the hell am I pulling these muscles? Where's this coming from? I was
Yeah.
like, I used to just be able. Remember, I told you the squat workout, 225, 5 reps, 315, 5 reps, 405, just 5 reps to
Fucking
go
crazy.
up a plate, and I could go all the way up to 8 plates a side. So tell
With
me,
no warm up.
yeah, that was the warm ups too. Was 5 reps per plate, starting at
Oh
two
yeah,
two
fuck
plates a
that.
side,
Oh,
and it was like I never ever had an issue, and all of a sudden. I start pulling muscles. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I was the same thing. Nobody could tell
Yeah.
me shit. Like, who's going to tell me anything? I'm the strongest dude in the gym, and I get there twice as fast until I start pulling muscles.
So that's freaking crazy. I was like that with like sprints and maybe, just walk in the gym without a warm up and dunk the basketball. But I can't, nah. Them days is over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I'm with. But here's the thing, and one thing that I'll say as like my little brother to you is that when you continue to do what you do, right? I'm not saying you try to dunk all the time, but you're active, you're still playing ball, having fun. it's when people stop that they get old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you want to just keep that the things that you do when you're young, you want to keep them in there. Maybe you don't do them quite the same, you know? Like with when I ride my dirt bikes, like a lot of times I'll go down, when of course you've talked about that. My brothers and even friends like, man, do you think you should give that up? I'm like, I mean, of course it's a thought, but the flip side is, that stuff keeps me young.
Yeah.
Who else? Not many people, in their 50s fucking going off, 60-foot fucking jumps on a dirt bike.
Man, people think they're done at like 45. Like they hang it up. I'm like, bro, you're 45. And I know I got a little ways before I'm 45, but like you got so much more life to live after that, It's just like that's so young to just think to have that mindset and think you just got to hang it up. I hate that.
When I think it's even like I think 45 is giving people some credit. I think it even happens younger than that for a lot of people.
So what's what age you think? What's the average age you think people just like? You know what? I'm done.
I don't. I think once they stop doing the activities, I think it becomes a landslide of kind of doing nothing. You know what I mean? And once that happens, I think if I had to guess, I would say that the average American male is probably starting to hang it up around shortly after 35 to 37. Give myself a 2-year window of guessing,
Yeah.
That'd be interesting if we could find a statistic on that.
That's a good, that's good. That's going to be good. We got to talk to Keith about that. Hey, Jimmy, write that down, man.
But on that level, I would say with what you're saying, brother, by that age, by 45, I don't think there's many people left in the running. I think it's a single-digit percentage of people that are still kicking ass.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, isn't it?
But you know what though? I think part of it might be just the I guess the culture or way of life, maybe.
Yes, 100%, brother.
It's just like working, probably marriage, kids, sitting in traffic, and then your leisure time. All you want to do is probably just watch a game and sip a beer or some shit like that. You probably don't want to do anything active because you constantly doing stuff throughout the week. So it's probably what.
Well, and it's very true because so many people live this uninspired life because they're, they got to get up so early to spend 90 minutes in traffic, and then 90 minutes home. So they got 3 hours sitting in the car. When I ride my dirt bike, I usually do it like 2 p.m. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, yeah. That's what's up.
It's like my afternoon exercise. It's crazy. One thing, excuse me, people wouldn't know, dude. Like 2 laps, sometimes not even 2 laps, go around that track, dude. I am fucking winded, straight up winded. It's great exercise. Most people wouldn't recognize that, but that's the beautiful thing about what I'm getting at is that when you're doing something that you like that is considered exercise, you don't want to stop.
Yep.
Hey, boys.
What's up,
Keith? Baby?
It's much better, Keith. Yo, Keith, it was bad. You were like,
oh, Marty, I love you, man. You got my back. I know. I was practicing my Michael Jackson moves this morning here. I was practicing some fucking dance moves here. The stutter. Yeah, there you go. Voice will have my back. We got Keith, John, and Marty here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I was just sitting back listening. I was enjoying the conversation, debating whether I should come in and talk about the fact that Johnny and I are quite young because you guys talk about 35, 45, 50. Old. What the hell, man?
Nah, it was crazy. Like I know people that's probably 20 years younger than y'all. Yeah, maybe not 20, maybe 15 years younger than y'all.
Yes.
But their spirit is like 10 years older than y'all.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's just it's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Well, Marty, you see it often at work, I'm sure, right? You got dudes, ladies coming in and you're like, man, I hang out with old guys every single day that make you guys look like you're like fucking old people probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like they might be, what are y'all, 53? 53?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be some people like 60, not that much older than y'all, but they like, it's like they're 20 years older than y'all.
That's funny, man. Hey, good morning, Jeremy Cunningham. I see you there in the comments. I see all you guys, Fit Presenter, Mike McQuillan. Guys, you saw that funny little ad I dropped yesterday on all of our feeds with the little red bug with Keith, John, and Marty in it, and I got some good traction.
Hold on, let me look at this.
I said that we were going around the world doing a world road trip, and it was fun actually because we had these 3 big dudes in this little fucking red bug, and I told McQuillan we come pick him up in Peru, and we go pick up Woodhams in London, and we go pick up Gareth and over in Australia, and
I forgot about Gareth.
That little red bus will basically jump up in the air and carry us over the pond, huh?
That's it, brother. That's exactly it. So hey, I had a few things I wanted to throw on the table today to talk about before we got into the big chats throughout the day, the behind the scenes secrets. I got a Gary Vee video I want to drop, but I gotta say
Gary Vee.
I gotta say something, and we got a Gary Vee video, and I gotta say something about what happened yesterday in the world. I know this is not a political show, no politics at all. This is a business conversation.
Which part now? Because I mean, it's like 3 things a day happening. I mean, God.
That's kind of my point.
I'm not complaining about it though, but still.
No, that's kind of my point. Because my point is this: obviously when we do the show here, and this show doesn't happen by accident, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes. A lot of creative, a lot of prep, and it all comes to life. And I'm a big fan of owning the narrative, a big fan of owning the conversation. I'm a big fan of when you start the conversation in the morning, you own the narrative throughout the entire day. And I loved how yesterday morning started in the world of politics. Some young man named Donald Trump says, yeah, so I think the Palestinians should do X, Y, Z. Like just basically move out of Gaza, right? By the end of the night, he's like, yep, America's taking over the Gaza Strip. And we're setting up a brand new Riviera. I'm like, holy fuck, man. So the guy plants a seed first thing in the morning, gets people kind of thinking about it. He makes some noise, right? But the noise is not really what the signal is. The noise starts in the morning, and then by 8 o'clock at night, he drops what he really wants to say. And to me, that is brilliant business communications. Point blank, period. I don't care if you're red, blue, green, orange. I don't care who you are as a business leader. To say something first thing in the morning, get people hanging on it. And then by the evening, you take that first little seed you dropped. And by the evening, you reveal the contents. And then what are we talking about 24 hours later, boys? The same thing. Why do I bring it up? Because we have the same product here. It's called Conversation OS. It's the same platform that powers Keith, John, and Marty's conversations. When we... Yeah, one last thing, Marty.
My bad.
Yeah. When we start the conversation in the morning, we set it for the entire day. And then what happens in the loop? It restarts again tomorrow. And Trump is the master of the loop. He's the master of it. He started the loop yesterday, even though the loop never ends. And then it goes in today. Now we're talking about America being over in the Gaza Strip. And then who knows what we're going to happen about tonight. So again, not a political conversation, purely a conversation about owning a narrative. Marty.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, one, you got to respect it, whether you like him or not.
Yes.
The guy says he's going to do something and does it.
Yes.
And then
yes.
You got to think too. A lot of the shit he's doing now was probably planned for 4 years after he lost.
100%. Yeah.
And was probably pissed off. And that's what I was talking about yesterday when AJ came on, and I said you got to channel the negativity into positive energy. So
yeah.
I feel like that's like a perfect example of what we talked about yesterday.
Well, and it segues to the video I'm going to run with Gary Vee too. Because Gary Vee talks to a lot of talkers, talk, and his video really eloquates to it. Very much like Trump, right? Because Trump talked a lot before the campaign, then he's doing a lot of shit. Right? So again, I don't really care whether it's right or wrong. It's not the point. Just the fact that he's
check this out. Here's the thing. I think what people got to realize is that change. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
But with every change, there is massive opportunity.
Yes.
One opportunity gets filled in, another one opens wide open. So you just have to kind of look. It's like it's when something changes and you get freaked out, realize that's just part of what change brings.
Yes.
Then calm yourself down and start scanning your surroundings. What opportunity popped up because of this? And I mean, business people make billions of dollars every time there's a change, especially politically.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Exactly. So I thought I woke up this morning, and as I went to bed last night, and I just was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, it's brilliant at planting a seed and then seeing where that seed grows. And he does it day in and day out. Right. So Jimmy, let's run this.
Hold on real quick. So, hey, Johnny, if you're trying to make change, you got to make a change.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, brother. I guarantee you.
That was off the top, Keith.
That was good. That was real good. But I guarantee you there's going to be some massive opportunities in the stock market because of this news.
100%.
Massive. People are going to be making millions of dollars because of this.
100%. So Jimmy, let's segue from change to change. Let's keep going on change. Many folks talk, many politicians talk, many business leaders talk. Talk. Action is what counts. Jimmy, let's run this Gary Vee video where there's a dude coming up to him saying, I can't get investors. I can't grow my business. I can't. Marty, I can't. I want to.
Well, that's his problem right there. He's got to get rid of that word. If he got rid of that word, he would be on the path to getting what he wants.
That's exactly it. So, Jim, let's run this video, brother, if you got it set up for us. And let's run the video here.
25.
How do I get some investors?
By email messaging them on LinkedIn.
They don't respond.
How many?
A lot.
How many people?
One after the other, one after
How many?
the other.
Give me a real fucking number.
Like 25.
Are you fucking out of your mind, Dick? 25. 100 a day. You want money. You're asking for money. You can't ask 25 fucking people.
But I can't ask anybody, just anybody.
Not true.
Well, you're going to say otherwise.
I'm going to say otherwise. Here's why. At night, from 8 o'clock to midnight, instead of whatever the fuck you're doing, lay down, have the TV in the background, have a beverage of choice, and fucking bang on LinkedIn. Hit up more people. Don't get in your own head. 25 people. You're going to get 1 out of every 500. 1 out of every 500 are going to answer you. But if you send 3,000, you have 6 meetings. And then if you go 1 for 6, you have your first real investor, and then your whole life changes.
So 2 key learnings from that, boys. 2 key learnings.
Sheesh.
Volume. One last thing, Johnny. One last thing. 2 key things. Volume. You got to knock on a lot of doors. It goes back to the Xerox conversation we had with the guy a couple weeks ago. You got to knock on a lot of doors. And the second thing is action. You can talk, but you got to make action. Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to hate on this dude, so let's just use this as him as a figure, right?
Yeah.
Somebody knocks on my door, wants me to invest in their shit. First thing I'm gonna do is look at your big jelly ass eating son of a bitch. You can't take care of yourself. You're gonna take care of my money? Nope. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at the tits on somebody walks in into my office, says, hey, I want you to invest $1 million, and he's got tits. He's not getting my money.
Yeah, well, hard to argue with that. Hard to argue with that. Because
Jesus Christ.
Because he's probably not demonstrating the habits that would suggest Johnny would give you the money.
Marty. He can't get it. He can't get rid of his tits. He can't everything. And that can't goes everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So Johnny, basically what you're saying is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Oh, 100%, my brother. 100%. You're learning, young brother. The young Jedi.
Hold on. I got another question for Johnny. Hey, Keith. So I got to holler at 6,000 girls to find my wife?
Yes, you do, motherfucker. Hey, boys, we're getting Marty a LinkedIn Sales Navigator account today, and we are going to track Marty's journey to finding himself a wife. So,
Marty, I got a question, Mark. With you learning all this fucking knowledge and these fucking cool phrases that really get people thinking, what are the people around you that are not changing as fast as you saying when you say some of this shit to them?
Good point.
I would bet that if we took the 5 people that you surround yourself with before this show, right? Mm-hmm. They're not used to the warp speed that you're changing once you started, because every morning you're getting all this brand new input, and brother, I am watching you change.
Me too.
As a human being in a very positive regard at a warp speed. People around is out and about don't have the resources to do this because they're not having conversations like this every fucking morning. So what are the people around? And I'm not down on anybody. I'm just curious. People around you must be going, fucking dude is changing.
Yeah. It's a true story. Brother.
Yeah. A lot of people, not to like single out like my friends and stuff. Some of them, they can't keep up.
Yeah. They probably just don't understand, right?
Yeah. They don't get it. And, those are my guys. I'm still going to try to help, but they 2 specifically they can't keep up. And then like with my clients, sometimes it's like I'm speaking another language. But I got more patience with my clients. With my guy friends, I'm like, come on, man, step it the fuck up. Come on, man.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and Marty. Marty, Johnny, you're so right, man. I texted Marty a couple of days ago. I said, "Fuck, Marty's just bringing the fire, man." I don't know. Every few weeks, like you just tend to move the notch up. Something. It's like you kind of go, "Okay, it's time to elevate it again." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So if the young buck is lifting it up, I guess the old dog's got to lift it up.
I know. Well, yeah, I love it because it reminds me of. It's like when I read something or I listen to something. I do it multiple times. And for me, like the 3rd or 4th time I hear something, it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Well, Marty's got all of this stuff that he's heard, because we, to a certain extent, the concepts and the theories and the principles of life we're talking about every day, just it's a slightly different flavor of the concept. And now this is just part of him now. He just spitting this shit out. He can't help it.
Yeah. It's so true, Marty. So true.
And I love it, brother. I love it. This is everything I'm saying is love and positive, my brother.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Well, listen, let's do this, boys. Since I had some problems this morning here, we're running a little behind. It's okay. Let's do the accountability check-in. And then I want to come back. I want to get into behind-the-scenes series. But before we do that, boys, I want to have a conversation. Again, not politics, just real life. We're here about having conversations. I want to talk DEI. Yeah, I do. I want to have a conversation with Johnny and Marty about DEI. And if you guys are in the comments, let's bring it up here. We're not going to, it's going to be a fun, light one. We'll see. Anyways, let's get after it. Boys, listen, everybody is faking. Let's get the camera going. Everybody's faking interest. Are you? I'm telling you guys right now, most people aren't listening. No, they're just scrolling. They're just tap, scrolling, scrolling. They're not really listening. They're not really reading. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. That's what they do. They sit and wait. And they go, oh, there's no connection. It's earned. The fast way to build it is curiosity. Be curious. When was the last time you showed real interest in someone? Ask yourself that. Go through the day today. Create that awareness, not to pitch them, not to impress them, just to understand. Because curiosity isn't just a skill, it's a damn superpower. It builds trust, it closes deals, it turns strangers into friends and clients into lifelong fans. We all know what it feels like when someone isn't really listening. It's horrible. They don't pay attention, you feel dismissed, they're looking at their phone, you're feeling invisible, like we don't even matter. So ask yourself this, how do you feel when you know someone isn't listening? And more importantly, how do you make others feel when you're listening to them? Think about it. There's your accountability check-in this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. A quick little hit to give you guys something to think about to get your day rolling. We do it every single day at around the 8:17 mark. Today, the clock is off as I had some technical difficulties, but that's just part of the fun we have here in the lab. So, Jimmy, let's keep the show rolling here, brother. I'm going to see if I get my other screen set up here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's we can do that too here. Good. All right. So, Marty, I wanted to listen. We're here to keep things light and fun, but I did want to have this conversation with you as a young black man in America. What are your thoughts on the DEI wipeout initiatives conversation happening? What's your point of view on it, brother?
I mean, it depends how you look at it, man. You know, somebody like myself, nothing's holding me back. You know, I feel like DEI or no DEI, I'm going to get to where I want to get to. And, you know, I'm not trying to make it political, but, you know, looking at stats, you know, my skin color don't even benefit the most from DEI.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why my people are so up in arms about it. You know, it's like when you hear DEI, people automatically associate it with black, and
yes,
you know, it's just not. That's not what it means.
No,
you know?
No, it's everything. It's
everything.
It's working remotely, working at the office. It's being included. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got to work at the office. Well, says fucking who, right? Yeah. I think for me, and I wanted to listen. We have this morning show. We have a platform. Let's talk about these topics that people are talking about. Just like yesterday, everybody all day talked about ketchup. We talked about ketchup in the morning. My entire LinkedIn feed all day is about ketchup. People want to talk about these universal things, right? I'll give my quick POV on DEI because I struggled with it, Marty and Johnny, when I was at ICUC because we went through the DEI.
Hold on, POV. I got that. DEI. What is the DEI?
Yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm following the conversation.
Yeah.
Here.
So the idea back when it was, you know, I guess Marty, back when some of the, you know, unfortunate incidents were happening around the world, especially in America, and we were losing folks. It was like, okay, we got to instill these DEI initiatives, make sure that we have the right number of certain inclusive peoples and inclusive policies. I think what happened over time is that all of a sudden nobody was included because it was all about having to make sure this box was filled, this box was filled, this box was filled. And I think it just really got off track. My POV is this. I did it with my last company and I'm doing it with this company. You find the best people in the best roles and you empower them. You don't care what their skin color is. You don't care where they work. You don't care how they deliver. You don't care what their sexuality is. Yeah, you need to be intentional with the world around you. And I believe you need to be intentional for the community and the audience that you're in. but just to fill a box for the sake of filling a box. And Marty, you and I talked about even, I think even with this show is like, oh yeah, the only reason you're on the show is because you're the young black man. Actually, no. When I was looking for a host, I was looking for a dude that showed up every fucking day. And this guy,
got the guy who shows up and hosts his own show every day.
Yes, so
has nothing to do with being black
at all. So when I found Marty for the show, I was like, okay, there's one guy. I had him on my show back on Live in the Lab. And he showed up every single day. I'm like, well, that's what I do. So I need a co-host. So I knocked on the guy's door. I didn't care what his skin color was. Right. And so, because to me, I didn't care who you were, what you were. The fact that you showed up and you brought it every single day was all that mattered to me. And to me, that's what we need to focus on with human beings, is focus on their skill set, their deliverables, their character. That's really all that matters, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I just want to add real quickly, I hate how people, they'll blame, skin color for not getting somewhere.
Yes.
And you don't know the work the person put in behind the scenes that you lost to.
Yes.
So you're basically discrediting their work, and whole time you didn't put the work in like they did. So they actually deserve it.
Well,
I don't like that.
What you're saying is somebody might question that you got a role because of your skin color, not because of the work that you put in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't bitch about the progress you're not getting because of the work you're not putting in.
Yeah.
It's everybody wants to blame something, and of course, race is such an easy place to hide.
Yes. Well, and I bring it up because Super Bowl this weekend. Again, this is current event, guys. We're talking about it. At the Super Bowl this weekend, they are removing in the end zones the big words on the end zone, like the big end zones. End racism now. So the NFL has said we're moving. And Martin, what do you think?
This is my thing. Racism's always going to exist.
Yes.
No matter how much emphasis you put on it, there's going to be some racist motherfuckers out there.
Yes.
Right. It's ignorant, and you got to realize that you're better than these people.
Yes.
So there's no need to get emotional about it. And then number two, I feel like the emphasis on it brings some type of entitlement. Like, you owe me something. Like, no, don't nobody owe you shit.
Thank you for saying that, Marty, because you're bang on, brother.
Nobody owes you anything, right? If you want to be treated a certain way, you got to earn that, right?
Well, you know what? The same thing happened a couple weeks ago, and we're gonna keep the show rolling here and lighten it up here in a moment. The same thing happened a couple weeks ago when the administration changed and the former press house secretary left and the new one came on stage. The former one introduced themselves by what they were and what they stood for, their race, their color, their gender. The new one said, okay, I'm skilled and here's what I do for a living. So Marty, to your point, it had nothing to do with your skin color, your race. It had to do with, I fucking earned this. I put the work in. That's why I'm here. Not because of gender, not because of my sexuality, not because of who I tapped on the shoulder. I'm here because of my skill set. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I can do it better than everybody else.
Exactly. Yep. But too often, I'm a gay black man, and this is the reason. Well, hold on a second. No, you're educated, you're smart, you're this. Let's flip the script on what you've achieved instead of what you kind of put out there, right?
Absolutely. And this is going to sound harsh, but you can be all of that. You can be great as a gay black man in your role, or you can be shitty.
You could be a loser too.
you could be a shitty salesperson or whatever it is.
Yes.
So you should be treated like everyone else that's shitty. And that's
exactly right.
That's just
exactly right.
I could go on a tangent on this.
All right, good. I want to talk about it because the NFL was in the NFL. It was the news here. The NFL's been in the news, and again, we do the show every single day. We would be ignorant if we don't bring some of these things up. So let's get after Marty. Let's do the fit tip, and let's come back, boys, and talk about behind-the-scenes secrets. And then Johnny, I want to keep digging into the dialogue we had on Monday about how we can help folks empower themselves to have some great lives ahead of them. Let's get after Marty.
Let's get it, man. All right, this is a men's show, so I'm going to say men, but this applies to women as well. But I'm just saying men for the example, all right? We got two types of guys here, all right? We got the guy that's fit. He's killing it in the gym. He's consistent. He's disciplined. He's eating his meal preps. He's doing his cardio. He's lifting. But the rest of his life is shitty. Then we got the guy on this side. He got his finances right. He's married, kids doing well in school, they excelling in sports, but his fitness is trash. This guy here, the first guy I mentioned, who's in shape and the rest of his life is shitty, This guy has a certain skill set that he can use to change his whole life. If he takes what he does in fitness and put it everywhere else, my man, he's going to hit the ground running. He's living a 180, whole different lifestyle. But this guy over here, the undisciplined fitness guy, can do the same thing. He has that skill set as well, but he needs to apply it to his fitness, right? He has to be healthy for his family. He has to be healthy so he can use those finances positively for his family. This guy that doesn't have shit, he needs to get it together before he gets evicted from his apartment and stop getting fired from his job. I'm saying all of this to say, all right, fitness is a parallel to life. It's not just about the gym, all right? You can use these skills in other areas of your life, or you can use the skills in other areas of your life to enhance your fitness. Either way, we always have something to work on as men. We always have something to improve on. So don't think that you made it to paradise because you're excelling in one area. And you can use fitness as that model to enhance your life. That's the fitness tip for today.
Oh, there's a fit tip of the day with C. Marty Fit, Christopher Martin, every single day around this time, giving you guys something to think about to get through your day. A couple days ago, Marty dropped the golden one. You know, if you're in the Victim Olympics, you're eventually going to get a medal. That was a good one, brother. I certainly enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it rocking and rolling. We're gonna have some chatter here about behind the scenes secrets. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions about some of your secrets, and then I know folks love behind the scenes stuff. We'll talk about that for a few minutes, and then we're going to continue the chatter with the three of us boys around this idea of 10 steps to build a life that matters, Marty. But how do you do it? It's one thing to say, hey, here's 10 steps, but how? How do you take the first step? And I know that you've been fortunate with that, and same with Johnny. We got Rick Clody coming in with Morning C. Marty Fit, always bringing the truth. If you hang around a barbershop long enough, you'll eventually get a haircut. Yeah. Is that how it works, Rick? That's pretty good.
I guess so. I learned something today.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, just go hang out the barber, because the guy's eventually going to say to you, hey, Marty, do you need a haircut? I guess so. I've been here hanging out long enough. So, Marty, give Nation one secret behind the scenes for you when you put the show on. What do you give us? Something that maybe I know about, we got new listeners. We're creating some new content. Give somebody a behind the scenes secret of how you bring to life. What time do you sit down here at the desk? How do you prepare? What's going on behind the scenes, Marty? Give me something, brother.
I always got to eat before I come on the show, man. Listen, I'm crushing food. I'm trying to hurry up and get on here before you finish the intro.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so usually like I come in and I'll log in. I'll set up my camera, but I'm not always here when you start.
Yes.
That's because I'm rushing from the gym to eat.
Yes. Because
I've been up for 4 hours. I gotta eat something, man.
I know. What about you, Johnny? Give me a behind the scenes secret that you have not revealed yet, or one that you've revealed but you're gonna bring back to the table because we've had so many of these conversations. Give me a secret, brother.
I'm sorry. The question is before we get on the show.
Yeah, or in the evenings. Like, so since you've started this show, I know it's had an impact on you because there's a commitment to it. Like, what's something that you've learned, you've experienced, or a behind the scenes kind of aha that's kind of happened to you, Johnny, since you've been on the show with us?
So I wouldn't know. Excuse me, I'm a little chummy this morning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's an aha, but I would say what probably I've noticed the most is basically a lot of what we talk about. It's my values and my beliefs.
Yes.
But talking about it out loud every day actually makes me better at what I believe.
Yes.
So, like, perfect example, it's like I am like, because we've talked a lot about relationships.
Yes.
And like when I remember when I brought up respond rather than react, that really hit home. And we've talked about that so many times.
Yes.
And I mean, that's something it's a value of mine. I believe it. I practice it. But since we've talked about that so much, I got such a fucking good grip on that now. I mean, yes. I can almost, and I hate to say guarantee, that's why I put almost in front of it. I can almost guarantee that I'll never have another fight with Terry because it's become so, it's subconscious. It's there, but it's like forefront in my subconscious. In the past I might have like, fuck you, reacted, respond. Now it's like that reaction, I can see that coming in so slow. I can push it away and respond.
Well, this is why I'm so, pardon my language, so fucking bullish and passionate about this show, because I've had the same experience. Like I like, because we do this every single 24 hours. When we're off the show, I feel like I have to act how I talk. So John, like yourself, you know, I with Lauren, I have no desire to have another fight again. I have no desire to have any troubles. I want to work. I want to communicate. I want to over communicate. I want to love, because if I feel like I'm being on the show coaching our brother Marty, Johnny, I got to be doing the same shit upstairs when I get upstairs with my family.
Yeah.
Right. So that has been a big awareness, and you guys have made me better. And that's where I get really passionate going, we need to keep getting men into this world, because I know when we hit men, we affect them, because I get the feedback. I get the feedback from guys like Rick Clody and Jeremy Cunningham and Mike Smart. They text me going, man, you guys, Marty said something today really affected me, or John something really affected me. So these things are been really game changing for me. The other thing for me, boys, a behind the scenes secret, and Lauren's coming in and saying, yep, you're your best self. That means the most to me. You know, when she says that, yep, you're your best self, I really believe I am. Like, this show has created a better man, John and Marty.
And it's just going to keep getting better. It's
100%.
not, it's every day is another step forward.
I hate to say this, because people's backs and get all weird about this, but it's almost like church. And I'm not suggesting that this is the church of the lab or church of Keith and John and Marty, but it's no Marty, but it's that principle every single 24 hours. We're trying to keep ourselves better. It's accountability.
Well, here's the thing. It's when we practice,
yes,
we get better. This is basically practicing our values every fucking day. And prior to the show, I didn't have 60 or 90 minutes of guaranteed practice of my values.
That's exactly it. Oh, I love that. That's exactly it. Every single day, 69. And Marty, I want to speak for you for a second. I believe that when the Gold's Gym thing came up, you were stressed a little bit about it, because you're like, oh, holy fuck, it's going to impact my morning with the boys. And I don't know if it was so much about impacting the show. I'm gonna suspect something. I'm thinking it's exactly what John just said. It was that you're going, how am I going to fit in this positive conversation, this positive reinforcement that I get so much out of every single day? I know you love doing the show thing like with me and Johnny do, but just the values of it, as I think what concerned you the most. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
You and just anymore. Yeah, not just like, it's one thing to have a routine, but when you have a routine that, I guess, brings your frequency up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I got to get rid of it. So yeah, it was a little frustrating, but I made it work.
You've done a great job making it work. And so the other thing I want to share with you guys that I've learned, and I knew this, but I didn't know this. So this has been the biggest eye opener for me. And Johnny, I'd be curious to know about you as well, because you've lived a life of your own world, and many of which I have as well. But this structure, that 8 o'clock Eastern time, not 8:03, not 8:05, not 8:15, 8 o'clock every single day comes. And when you have that commitment, it's a non-negotiable. It's pretty powerful, because when I go through my day, I'm like, okay, I know the routine that I need to get into to get the morning show ready. It's like, and it's like 8 o'clock comes regardless if I like it or not.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's been so long. Yeah. I can't even remember. Actually, forgive me. The last time I had something like this was fucking college and high school.
Yes.
Because I've never had like, okay, you have to be here. Well, forgive me. Yes. Like, you know, when I was on tour, I had to be there for the tour bus leaving the Tokyo Dome Hotel, but it was random and different times. But in terms of like showing up at a certain time every day, it wouldn't even have been college. It would have been fucking high school. Yeah.
Well, that's what, and that's why I go back to the value Matt that day when Matt's like, you guys are bringing this every single day. I'm like, yes, our show. It's what we do, right? So that's been a real eye opener for me too, and it's turned it into a non-negotiable, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But you know, as much as a lot of the other behind the scenes. And one thing that I've been talking with Melissa, our colleague here, is that we need to continue doing a better job, not just telling, but showing folks a lot of the things that we're doing and happening, and the values that come out of our morning show, right? So which segues to what we're going to talk about next, which is I want to get to after the lifestyle tip, which is 10 steps to build a life that matters. Myself, Johnny, and Marty a little bit talked about it on Monday, but I want to dig back into it because I know the feedback I'm getting from our audience is that give us the hows. Like, what's Johnny's experience? What's Johnny's experience with Terry? Keith, tell us how you did it. What's Marty's how, right? It's one thing to say, but the hows really resonate for folks. And because our experience, Johnny's experience, Marty's experience, people can learn from that. It's the experience that these AI models don't just have yet. So let's do that, boys. Let's get to lifestyle tip, Jimmy, and let's come back and have the conversation and give some folks some nuggets on how they can rock and roll with it. Johnny, you're up, brother.
Come on, you gonna drop off the screen or what?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Come on, Jimmy.
Come on, Jimmy. You sleeping, babe? Come on, baby. All right. I'm full of shit. I'm a dreamer. That's what I was told. That's what everybody told me when I decided I was going to become a pro strongman. I had nothing but resistance. Nobody believed that I could do it. However, there was one person that did. Thank God. And that person was me. I believed I could do it. Because here's the thing. There's going to be all sorts of things in your life that you want to do, but nobody's going to believe you can do it until you do it. So don't listen to the people around you that tell you you can't. Don't listen to the people who don't believe in themselves, so they don't want to believe in you. Take the first step, believe in yourself, and go get what you want. Because the only person you need to believe in you is you. Rock and roll.
All right. Very, very, very good nugget this morning from Johnny. That's a hard one, man, for us to sometimes believe in ourselves when the whole world we feel like is against us. And it's like, in many ways, Johnny, it's back to that Gary Vee video, right? The guy's like, nobody's liking me. Well, no, you got to believe in yourself first, and then work on convincing others to believe in you. But you got to believe in yourself first. That's a
Well, you know why I believed in myself was because I was putting into work every day.
Yes.
And I'm looking around me and I'm thinking, all these people who are telling me that I can't, you're not doing it every day.
Yep. It's exactly it. All right, well, listen, Johnny, we talked on Monday. We talked a little bit on Monday about 10 steps to building a life that matters. Mm-hmm. And we know that it starts with your own mirror, and you kicked off the dialogue. You got to believe in yourself first. But let's get into it. Let's break it down. Let's create some content, boys, for some further conversation. Marty, one of the things that, in order to create that life that matters is you need to question the rules you've been given. Johnny, how do you question the rules that you've been given to get outside of those rules to make them your own rules? How do you rewrite the script? John Anderson, question for you before I ask the same question to Marty. So here's the hook, Jimmy. Johnny, how do you rewrite the script?
Yeah, simple. Break the rules. Not the laws. The script is all about rules. You don't have to fucking listen to the rules. You don't have to follow the rules. You got to follow the laws. You'll end up in the fucking clink if you break the laws. And if you break the rules, you're going to get ahead real fucking fast.
Is it as simple as breaking the rules, Johnny?
I mean, as long as you're breaking the rules on the proper side of the fence, absolutely.
Well, and the funny thing is that we kick the show off and, we'll leave international law aside, but the president of the United States is breaking the rules. Like, nah, maybe we're going to take Gaza over. So again, not to make it political, but there's
He's breaking a lot of rules.
Yeah, well, yes, and a lot of laws too, apparently, but just the ideation of it, right? But Marty, when I ask you the same question, how do you tell somebody to question the rules that they've been given? How does somebody rewrite the script, Christopher Martin? How do you tell your clients that?
Yeah, my answer was a little general. I'll wrap back around with something a little more specific and a takeaway, because that's what this was supposed to be.
Yes.
Forgive me.
Yeah. Marty, how do you do it, brother?
Well, we can look at it two ways. We look at it professionally. We'll do two ways. Look at it professionally, and we'll look at it from a fitness standpoint.
Yeah.
If you look at it from a fitness standpoint, right, who do you want to look like? I know that's shallow, but it's the truth. We all got somebody.
You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, right?
Right.
You got to start somewhere.
Right. Let's mimic the habits of what they do, and it's probably not going to be like, Big Belly Bob over there or Big Belly Brenda. So let's not listen to them. Let's do what this person is doing, right? And it's probably going to be out of the norm. It's probably not going to include a lot of quote unquote fun, right? It's probably not going to be what you want. Now let's look at it professionally. Like what house do you want, or what type of money do you want to have? What position do you want to be in? And if it's your boss who's getting on your nerves, you probably want to excel past him. So let's not follow the boss's path. Let's do something else. Like let's do a side hustle at the end of the day. Let's do something, you know what I mean? Let's add something to the plate that's going to get us there. Do we need to stack extra cash? Do we need to pick up a new skill? What is it? That's kind of how I look at it. That's breaking the rules to me.
Yes, yeah, that's a good answer. I'll add to that, Johnny, before I throw it back to you. But paraphrasing many ways what you said, Marty, is model yourself after somebody. And I'll be honest, growing up in the same era as Johnny and me wanting to be a bodybuilder or have that aesthetic or that physique, I would say I modeled myself after guys like John Anderson. I read the magazines, Johnny, I saw them at your magazine cover yesterday. Like that's what I aspired. I aspired to have the aesthetic. And I knew that to do that, it wasn't eating fucking quarter pounders of cheese and Big Macs. I had to get to the gym. I had to train. So I was going to the gym because of, and again, you talk about shallow Marty. No, it was about modeling myself. And then it was modeling myself after the guys I saw on the TVs, like the Trumps and the Richard Bransons of the world, which were out to make money. I wanted to make money. So modeling myself. Johnny.
Well, so I think there's two steps to this. To rewrite your script, you got to rewrite your story. What is your story? Because so many people, this happened to me, so that's why I'm this way, and it's not a good thing. I'm not getting what I want because, I had this problem or this person did this to me.
Yes.
What you got to rewrite the story is, yes, the shit that happened to you, but because you went through that, you develop a skill set that will allow you to do something that you couldn't have done had you not gone through that. So that number one is rewrite your story. My story, you hear me tell it all the time. Thank God Marty loves this. Thank God I was a dumb little son of a bitch because, I was dumb. I was porky. This is me developing the skill sets to keep my head above water is exactly what I needed for me to become who I am today.
Yes.
So that's the first step. Rewrite your story. Okay. Then once you rewrite your story, look around at the people that are trying to do what you want to do. And the majority of them are not doing the things that they need to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the things they're not doing. Like they're not getting up before they're not getting up before the rest of the world. They're not, doing something every day. It's very easy to pick out what people are not doing. Or like Keith said, pick out someone who's already successful.
Yeah.
And do the things they're doing. That might help you figure out what you need to do. But rewrite your story and start doing the shit that the people that are trying and not successful are not doing, or like I said, emulate the person that is.
You know who's rewritten his story? And I've been meaning to bring this up for the last few days, boys, because I didn't want you guys to think that this person has left us. You know who rewrote his story? Is Richie Ingram. So Richie Ingram.
Shit. Tell us. As you would say, brother, do tell.
Yeah, but what I do mean is Richie comes back from Afghanistan, right? Loses his arm. He's like, holy fuck, I got to create a new story for myself, right? So he does. But we have been missing Richie on the show. Richie, we love you, brother. On behalf of myself, John and Marty, he's got life and family commitments, right? So he's got his two young children, and just managing life in the mornings has become a little more hectic than he had originally thought when we kind of engaged with him here. So he's working hard to spend more time with us, and we're going to get Richie back on here. But Richie is as committed as the three of us are to making this thing rock and roll. He's just had some life commitments, but he's a guy who had no choice, John and Marty, to rewrite his story. He comes back to America as a young man with one arm, and his mom gives him a fishing rod. So Johnny, it's like, I guess I don't really have a choice. And you're wondering why the fishing rod? Well, Richie was a fly fisherman. If you fly fish before, you need two arms to do it. So he looked at his mom like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this? And she says, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, learn to do it.
So you talk about rewriting your story and taking action. Like that.
And that's breaking the rules.
That's exactly.
You need two arms to do this.
Yes.
Do you? Do you? Well, and this is what the rules say, but that's not the law. I'm not going to jail because I learned to fly fish with one arm. God damn it.
That's why I'm such a big fan of Richie Ingram, because he breaks the rules. And boys, I woke up this morning to a picture from Richie. He ran his 50K race. He placed. So
nice.
Yeah. So I know Richie and I we're gonna talk today or tomorrow. He's gonna come back and hang out with us here soon. Here, just kind of figuring shit out. But he plays and he's getting after it every single day.
That's
Boys,
real.
the next one in creating a life that matters, and Johnny, I think you're leaning back into tactical advice here. Here's the next one, because here's one that I know I've often admitted on this show, which is this defining your core values. Like, how do you define your core values? How do you know? Who tells you? Where do you get them from? Again, starting with you, John, starting with the OG here. How did you define your core values, and what would you say to somebody right now, John, who's waking up struggling with what those values are?
God damn. Well, I mean, here's the thing. We're kind of programmed, you know? We're born into this world, and it's like all of these limiting beliefs are just kind of injected into us because of the people that, I mean, keep in mind, the people that give it to us, they don't even know they're doing it. It's teachers, it's parents, it's coaches.
Bingo.
And we learn all of this limitation. You know, think of it like this. When we were babies, right? You know, first we had to learn to crawl, right? Then we had to learn from crawl to walk. Can you imagine if basically a baby doesn't have limiting beliefs because nobody can tell the baby it can't. So it falls down hundreds and maybe thousands of times learning to walk, but just keeps getting back up, trying again. It's not until that baby can understand someone saying you can't do that it starts to develop these limiting beliefs. So what I would say is you really have to start looking around. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, in most cases, it's the role models that are the limiting belief system that have given that shit to you. You got to look at them and say, are they where I want to be? Because if they are, then the limiting beliefs you have are okay. But if you want to go beyond them, you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to start to understand that you can do more than you've been programmed to, than you think you can do.
Yes. Yeah.
Marty, pal, as the younger buck here, you know, did mom, dad, did society, how did you figure out the Bible? I know you're a fan of the Bible and the scripture and the words of God. How did you sort your values out, Christopher Martin?
You kind of just got to mess up. You know, you mess up enough times, you start to learn things, right? You got to get disrespected, right? You just have to go through life, and it kind of takes time, you know? So when it comes to being a leader or hiring a coach, that's why you got to listen to people who've been through some shit. Because you know
that's a good point, brother.
They're going to develop some wisdom, but you know, at 22, you know, there was things I didn't know until I got to 27. It's things at 27 I didn't know till I got to 31. So you kind of just shape it as you move on in life.
And that's really good, brother. On that level, just to kind of put something in between what I said and what you said to kind of tie those together is, if you know, your values should be, you know, similar to that person or that leader or that role model that is where you want to be.
Yep.
And so if you're listening to the right people, that's going to help you kind of digest the right approach, the right beliefs, the right values. So be careful who you're listening to.
What was maybe a struggle for me, I'll get a little personal for you guys. What was a struggle for me is love my parents, love my family to pieces, obviously. But I didn't identify much with my father growing up. Blue collar man, worked with his hands, where I was working with my brain or doing things differently. So I would say that I struggled growing up with wondering what my values were, with wondering where I was to model myself, John and Marty, and wondering how to model myself. I found myself modeling myself off television, off MTV, you know, off the 10-foot satellite dish that in many ways changed my life because I was watching content being influenced by things. Marty, I was being influenced by John Anderson's pictures in the magazines that I was reading, right? So there's a lot of truth to that, frankly, right? That's why when I joke when I said, John, you know, 1980 called, they want their body back because I was in 1980 wanted to have a body like John Anderson, right? So, you know, so I lived a life, boys, where, you know, I'm going to be frank, I had a lot of mess ups with my values. I didn't, because I don't know if I was taught them, you know, and I don't know if I learned how to model them. And it wasn't until I got a little older and I had some male leaders, like one of my bosses, Chuck, I will say, and I'll call him out, Chuck, if you're tuning in right now, I love you, brother. like he became a very much a value driver for me because Johnny, I saw how he was living his life. I saw the kind of dad he was. I had a cousin who I thought was an incredible dad. Again, not knocking my dad, but just sometimes you look for guidance, right? And I ended up spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on therapy, going through life, having to figure out my values because I was lost. I was a lost young man, making brutal decisions, making shitty decisions, falling on my face, fucking up a lot, frankly. And it took me slowing down, going through therapy a number of times to frankly figure out my values. And I go back to this show, John and Marty, this show every single day, every 24 hours is a reminder of what my values are because I want to be like you two. And then one last thing, when I met AJ Zeglin, and then I met a guy named John Heinbecker, a very successful business guy here in Winnipeg, I said to myself, okay, well, John's 10 years older than I am. AJ is 10 years younger than I am. If I can be as good as these two men, I'm going to be pretty good shape. Because Johnny Marty was like, he's like fucking Bruce Wayne of Winnipeg. He's a handsome man. He's like fucking Batman. He runs a really successful business, and he lives down the street here. Then AJ, we've all met AJ, solid dude. So I said to myself, if I can be half as good as that guy, younger than me, and if I can be half as good as this guy who's older than me, I'm going to be in pretty good shape. But guys, I had to go on a journey to get there. Big time. I had to get there.
Yeah. Well, you know that we want our kids to be better than us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think it comes down to we're just in this world where we're just kind of like, there's not enough intention.
No.
We're not taught intention.
That's right.
And if we were taught intention at a younger age, we wouldn't just kind of do shit to do it.
Yes.
Why are you doing it?
Yes.
Get a little deeper. Look beneath the surface.
Yes.
Well, I did not learn intention for the first, goddamn, I don't know. It took me, I guess you say I learned intention in the weight room. Thank God.
Yeah. So did I.
And literally but that was something I just fucking, thank God I just discovered it on my own.
Yes.
Because I wasn't taught that shit anywhere. Well, maybe people were trying, but it was a language I didn't understand.
Yes. Yeah. Marty.
Yeah, I was going to say too, along with the intention, you got to, I guess the people that are teaching you, they might, so you say you're supposed to teach your kids to get better. And this is no shade at any parent, coach, anything like that.
Yeah.
But they might be teaching you how to be like them. And you realize,
exactly, yeah.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want that. So, and that kind of shaped my mindset too. I saw what I didn't want to be like and what I didn't want to be around. So,
well, I mean, I'll pull my pants down real quick. when there was a period early on in my life where there was basically my blood father, myself had talked about a plan of me taking over his business.
Yeah.
And it was just the old bull, young bull scenario. I'm not going to point out blame. It's not about the blame. It's the fact that it just didn't work. And as I chose not to fall in his footsteps, he took that as the massive form of rejection. And our relationship, that was probably the first time where our relationship went to the wrong side of the fence. So deep, I don't know that it ever came back because he was trying to, just like you said, he was trying to, in his mind, he was trying to make me a good man like him. I just saw bigger, better things for myself business wise than he had to offer.
That would have been so. It sounds very similar, Johnny, when I quit hockey as a 16-year-old man, because that was my dad's social life, and all of a sudden it could disconnect. And in many ways, it tore us apart for a long time because.
Oh yeah. I mean, my dad after that, over the course of the next year, sat me down multiple times and told me that he was going to decide by the end of that meal if he had a son or not.
Dude.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude.
Yeah. But keep in mind, and he's passed away now. Dad, I thank you. Because if you hadn't done this stuff, had you not put this kind of pressure on me, I would not have developed the skill sets that I have today.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and Marty here. Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. Marty's getting to get out of here in a couple of minutes. I got a funny comment from Marty here in a second. That we're talking
real quick. Hold on, I'm sorry. I got to go back. I don't want to say, had you not done that to me, that sounds victimish. Thank goodness you put that pressure on me. because you can't look at the tough situations even a little bit with the victim mentality down deep, because that shit will eat you up.
Yeah. Lauren's coming in with a comment saying that parenting is totally about breaking the cycle, and she's absolutely right. Isn't it, Johnny?
Yes.
It's about doing things that we're trying to break the cycle from what didn't happen to us, right, John?
On that level, let me go a little deeper with that. In the Bible, it's called the generational curse, correct, Marty?
Yep.
So my dad had a brutal relationship with his dad. Brutal, like to the point where my grandmother and my uncles and aunts, it would all tell me it was like beyond noticeably bad. So when I was young, he kept saying to me, my relationship was bad with my dad. I don't want that to happen to us. But then when real life came, the cycle was repeating itself. I'm sure that his dad sat him down and said the same things to him that he told me. It was a learned behavior, I believe. That makes sense. So his dad probably sat him down because his brothers were both lawyers. He was not. So he was kind of the black sheep. So anyway, but what I'm getting at is the relationship that we had, as towards the end, we became estranged. Had he not pushed me away and given me a different perspective on the generational curse, I would not have had basically the wherewithal or the clarity to see it and stop it. Because when we were still in contact, I was doing the same, not exactly, but I was doing kind of the same dumb shit to my kids and Terry he was doing to me and to his wife.
Yeah.
My stepmom. So crazy enough. I mean, again, I thank you again, Dad, because you did what you needed to do to break the curse, the generational curse, and our family's over.
I love Marty. I love when Johnny drops. I love when Johnny drops the Bible stuff, man, because it just doesn't. You don't think it comes from a guy like John Anderson, but then when he drops him, like, okay, ears up. Yeah. Right? You kind of pay attention. Good time coming in with I relate to this. Respect, boys. I respect you. Good time. I appreciate that. Well, I recognize when we have conversations like this, people's ears perk up because this is the whole point of our show, right? Adam comes back with, at the time, it probably seemed unfair, but hindsight's 2020. Yeah, true story. Marty, I know you got to rock and roll, brother, but we're going to get you out of here in a quick second. Johnny, Marty and I were having a conversation yesterday with his glasses. These glasses have been a really game changer for me. I wear them all day, music in my ears, take pictures and behind the scenes content. Marty's going to go buy himself a pair. And because I told him Sunglass Hut has a 30-day return policy. I'm like, dude, you go try them out for the weekend and then return them. He's like, that's a good idea.
Did they make them in Versace?
There we go. There's Johnny. If they haven't, I'm sure they will.
See, Costco returns everything, Marty? Like, you can have something for 5 years, 10 years, and they'll just return everything. That their policy fascinates me.
I didn't know that.
She knew somebody that used a coffee maker for whatever 10, 15 years and then was like, no, it's not working anymore. Took it back to Costco and they took it back. Now, I don't agree with that.
That is so bad. That is so bad.
That is stealing. At that point, that's stealing. But we got Good Time saying my son is a pair, Marty. You got to get there. Yeah, see, I'm telling Good Time knows, Marty. You got Uncle Keith here and Good Time telling you we got to get you some of these glasses here. So, Mark, you gonna get out of here, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Gonna get the loop. Get the loop going. Next part of the loop,
You get after, bro. All right. Marty's going to get out of here. Keith and Johnny are going to reset the show and keep the conversation going. Marty, you have a good day, brother. We'll talk to you in less than 24 hours, okay?
Yes, sir. See y'all tomorrow, man.
Have a good loop, brother.
Marty's going to get out of here. Johnny's going to go for a break. I'm going to reset it. We're going to keep the show going for a number of minutes here. We'll do Community Corner and Creator Spotlight. Yes, Lauren. 4 years for the coffee maker. How embarrassing. Yeah. True story. Somebody used the coffee maker 4 years, turned it into Costco, and Good Time. Do you do that? Good Time. Don't tell me you buy things from Costco and use them for a long time and then take them later. Adam Holroyd, we'll see you later, pal. Breaking up. Yes, have a good one today. You guys all have a great day here. We're going to keep the conversation rock and rolling here with Keith and John and Marty. Well, Marty's out. 10 steps to build a life that matters. We had some technical difficulties to start the show off. I had a little issues there, so we got the show rolling. Then we got into some topics around, what did we talk about today? We talked about how you set the conversation in the morning. You set the conversation for the entire day, and we saw it happen again yesterday with U.S. politics, with the young man, Mr. Trump, setting the tone in the morning. And by the end of the day, the Americans are taking over the Gaza Strip. That's how things happen in the world of communication. We also talked about, we've been having a conversation about 10 steps to build a life that matters. We talked a little bit about DEI this morning and why we maybe want to focus on just hiring the best human being instead of focusing on maybe things that about checking the box is we also talked about that this morning as well. Jimmy stepped away to help his son, and the cameras weren't working for a while, so we can blame that on Jimmy. Jimmy's years ago going, what? Yes, Jimmy, we're making you a star there in the Philippines. We got Tommy in the community smashing the buttons, making sure everything works along the way. So let me just get my notes up here, guys. Let me see here. What do I want to get to next on the show here? I think that we're going to keep the conversation going with the habits, but I think that we could also bring this one up as well with Keith and Johnny here. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm going to bring this one up for Keith and Johnny because we're a couple older guys. We can bring some advice to the table, and I want to talk about. Let's get this up here. So, Jimmy, we're going to continue that chat with Johnny, Keith, and Marty throughout the week. But let's do this one. Let's get into. I had one here this morning here, Johnny. I've been really enjoying your content with Terry talking about relationships, and I know we talk about it often here on the show about the power of relationships and why we want to keep leaning into making our relationships stronger. And listen, let's get into this one, Johnny. Let's have a little chat about how to up your game in the bedroom. Because boys, we know Valentine's is around the corner, and I think Valentine's is all year. I hate these times where it's like we got to pick a day and we got to just it's this day. But listen, fellas, we got to be honest. Are you as good as you think you are? Most guys think they're just solid in bed, but there's always room to level up. And guys, being a great lover, here's the thing, Johnny, and here's why I know you're going to love this conversation because I watch your content. Being a great lover isn't about knowing a few moves, boys. It's about paying attention. It's about communicating. And it's about creating an experience you both enjoy. So let's get into the top 10 ways to get better. Johnny's always on me going, Keith, let's give people nuggets. Let's give them tactics. Let's give them things that they can hang on to and learn from. And I'm like, yes, you're right, Johnny. So I'm leaning into John's emphasis on let's show, not just tell. Johnny, 10 top ways to get better in the bedroom with your partner. And here's the one, boys. Here's the one that you're not thinking I'm going to say. John, number 1, sex is a conversation. It's not performance. It's a two-way street. Listen to her body, respond and engage. Ask her for what she likes and pay attention to reactions. In other words, boys, talk about sex. Don't avoid the conversation. John Anderson.
Well, I think that if I had to break this down, first off is have the conversation, not in before and not during. Have a conversation. Hey, what in a, as Terry would call it, a safe space. Meaning like a spot where there's no tension. You're not having a conversation right before if someone's going to get clammed up. Hey, what is it that you like? What is it you like that I do? What is it? Just find out what your partner likes. Yes. Then you kind of got a general roadmap. That's the first step. And then obviously listening and paying attention to sounds and movements is a big part of that too.
Yes.
As the language of the body is big. But I think the main driver, I think for what makes me want to do this type of communication, is the fact that, I guess I can put this back to a great lesson my blood dad gave me. He was big on talking to me about sex when I was young. And so he basically, I guess he kind of instilled in me that I needed to think of the female first. But he was like, look, it's going to be real easy for you to finish, not so easy for her.
Yes.
And so I just kind of got it in my mind that I needed to be, I figure if I could, I remember when you finally do please a lady and you get her to have an orgasm, it's a pretty freaking amazing experience. And that became probably equal to or more exciting than me having an orgasm. Yes. So it just kind of when you think about making sure that you keep her first and her pleasure first, your pleasure is just going to come out of hers. It's almost like you can't help but to get pleasure out of her pleasure. And if you can keep the alignment that way, don't think of yourself first, think of her first, then you want to have the conversation. You want the roadmap because you want to be successful at everything you do. That's the tips that I would give to this topic.
Well, this is a good segue because we're going to stay on the C's. Conversation moves to checking in. quick question for your partner. Does that feel good? Or what do you want? Goes a long way, right? So I'm going to suggest, Johnny, that us as men typically are programmed that sex is insert, thrust, empty clip, done. When many ways I'm going to invite men to be thinking about that. Let's check in during, let's converse, let's check in after, talk about sex outside the bedroom, right? Flirt with your wife throughout the day on text messaging, right? Maybe, Johnny, we want to consider that sex is like the loop, Johnny. It actually doesn't end, right? Maybe we want to consider as we get older, sex is defined as the words throughout the day, the love, the touch, the smack on the butt, as you like to joke about. And then it goes into a situation where there is the insertion, there is the thrusting, there is the emptying in the clip. But then it just resumes again with the talking and the flirting and it's checking in during. And Johnny, it's like redefining that sex is more like the loop instead of a start and an end. Talk about that.
And on that level, like I will often ask Terry about, her orgasm or her orgasms, depending on how long we're going. And because when she explains to me what she's going through, I can connect those dots to what I'm seeing. And what I'm feeling and her, her movements, her sounds. And so it's, you just hit on the head. It's a loop. It's not a one-time talk. That the first talk just gets it out of the gate.
It's exactly.
It just becomes this, perpetual, I guess you'd say, conversation, not only with words, but, with body language and everything else. So it's something that's an ongoing thing.
That's why this show for me has been a game changer. Because it's just continued to keep this front of mind. It's not just about emptying the clip. It's about everything that goes along with it, right? Which then goes to the third one, Johnny, about leveling up your game in the bedroom, men, building a connection, that emotional connection with your partner. Better sex, make her feel seen, make her feel appreciated and safe, and then watch how it's going to transform your sex life. Right.
And do that stuff before you're having sex.
Yes.
It's a little late if you're, it's time to get down or you're starting to process foreplay. That all that stuff that you just said, brother, that should have been done. Well, first off, that should be done all the time, every day.
Correct.
But if you're doing it just pre-sex, that's probably not going to be sending the message that she's looking for.
That's right. Right. Well, because then we're leaning too much into the physical part of it, right? So, Johnny, number one, next one on our list today is every woman is different. What worked for last partner, I'll work for this one. Ask questions, pay attention, and adjust. Right. So, and Johnny, I would also offer, as time goes on, as life goes on, our partners evolve. So what our partner may have enjoyed on day one might change over time. Communicate, connect, and communicate, Johnny.
I mean, if you were to look at the different, I guess you'd say, activities or patterns of Terry's and my sex life, you go back 10 years ago, it was very different. And one piece of that puzzle is because there was kids in the house.
Yes.
There was limitations to what we could do as to where we don't have those limitations now. So, pre and post kids, there were some pretty big changes in when you would see what our sex life looks like. Everything from, frequency to, to how often, how long, what positions. It's very different because the limitations are gone.
That's right. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Pellis and John Anderson here, Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. We're talking mastering intimacy, boys. 10 ways to elevate your connection in and out of the bedroom. And listen to what I'm saying, boys. Mastering intimacy. Not mastering emptying the clip, not mastering masturbation, not mastering the art of having the sex, mastering intimacy and the power of intimacy. Boys, next one on the list is knowing her body, right? Fellas, the clitoris isn't just a tiny spot. No, it's a whole structure. Learn about the G spot, the A spot, and the other erogenous pleasure zones on your partner. And if you've had a partner for a long time, it gives you even more. I'm going to encourage you even more to explore those spots, right? And when you're connected, Johnny, to your partner, exploration is so much fun, right? Explore, gentlemen. Be curious and watch that intimate magic happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say that, and keep in mind all of this stuff, there's all these different sensitive places, but they're all a little different on everybody. They're all like some women are going to have more sensitivity in certain places than others. So just like you said, everybody's very different. And it's like you got to, it's like driving two different types of sports cars.
That's right.
You know?
Yes.
You know, they're all sports cars, they're all exotic cars. But you know, some you got to be a little bit more tender with the brakes or the throttle than the next one.
Well, good segue to this one then, Johnny. Good segue. You talk about throttling and the brakes, but slowing it down, boys. Rushing is a rookie move. This is where we need Marty, buddy. Marty, if you're listening, power, slow it down, brother. Rushing's a rookie move.
I think he would argue that he's got that one down. He seems to be pretty confident in this part of his life.
Yeah. Foreplay is the main event, boys. Build up the anticipation and make her crave it, right? But that starts up here in the head. That starts here in the heart. It starts throughout the day, right? It's just not that. And you listen, sometimes it's a quick slam, bam, thank you, man. We want to go have some fun quickies and get after it because there's time or whatever. But slowing the whole situation down. Guys, focus on the foreplay, right? That's really what we want to focus on.
Well, and that's a good point, brother, because you can create foreplay in a lot of weird, different little ways.
Yes.
Like you got to have spontaneous. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Yes.
But then there's other times where, you know, I'll walk up and grab Terry by the butt, and I'll say, "You're going to get it tonight."
Yeah.
And it might be 10 o'clock in the morning, so she's thinking all day long. She's thinking about what's coming.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of that too. Number 7, boys, try new things. Shake up the routine. New positions, fantasies, toys. But here's the key point, boys. Explore together, right? Have the conversation. Converse. And then I want to offer up comment. We got, Johnny, we got a comment from actually our friend Amy Reinhardt coming in, and she makes a great comment, which is one important part of this discussion, Johnny, is that women are often shamed in or for things in the bedroom. Don't do it, boys. It's going to backfire. So listen, leave the shaming outside, man. You want to try new things and your partner's not open to it?
That's insecure. That's an insecure male. You know,
yes.
It's like, the male that says, what he wants to know, how many people have you slept? Jesus Christ. I mean, holy Toledo. Does that really make a difference? First off, if you're going to ask the female that question, you got to be good with answering that question yourself.
You know what I've learned about conversations sometimes, Johnny? I learned this from my lawyer, is that sometimes, like, conversations, if it's not going to move forward, why have it?
Yes.
What are you expecting to have? Like, what are you expecting to gain out of this conversation? If it's not going in a direction you don't want it to go, then why are you even having it? Like, just don't even
ask the question unless you really want the answer.
There you go. Number 8, Keith and Johnny talk about it all the time with their buddy Marty. Amy, ears up. All joking aside, boys, solo practice improves your skills. Masturbation, here's the key word, boys. Masturbation with intention helps build stamina, control, and awareness of your own body. So regardless if you're 20, 30, 40, or 50, or 60, guys, never stop solo practice, right? It's going to keep you healthy, and it's going to keep you aware of your own body, especially to go spend time with your partner. Johnny?
When if you're having a tough, when we're young, we have a hard time with stamina.
Yes.
So you bust one off. The second one's always harder to get than the first one. So you can buy yourself a little distance and some longevity in the sack with knocking one off, sure. It depends on the person. I mean, I used to be able to knock one off minutes before and still be rocking, but then, obviously sometimes everybody's different. You know what I mean? You might have to knock it off earlier in the day.
As we get older, Lauren's like, okay, it's going to be a few hours. Yep, I think it's going to be a few hours for the next one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's at this age, if I knock one off right before that's, then I'm looking at a possible bender,
Number 9, non-sexual touch matters. Boys, this is a big one. Guys, I cannot emphasize this one enough. Show affection throughout the day. Johnny talked about it. Throwing a nice little text to Terry or whispering in her ear that, hey, I'm looking forward to humping you later today, or loving you later today, or smacking your ass later today. But that non-sexual touch, that affection throughout the day, hugs and kisses, Johnny, hand holding, touching the back, right? These subtle little things, it all builds desire, boys. And some of you are thinking this is all basic. It's basic, but we don't do it, which is why we're talking about it. So do that non-sexual touch. And then number 10, Johnny, is patience and learning wins. Great lovers aren't born. They learn, they listen, and they adapt. They drop the ego,
Yes.
they pay attention, and they get better over time. That's how it works, Mr. Anderson.
It's a practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like anything else. You don't use it, you lose it.
That's exactly it. So, boys, gonna wrap it up here. Sex isn't about tricks. No, we joke about it all the time on this show because that's what we do here. We joke with love, but sex is not about tricks, boys. It's about connection, attention, and a willingness to learn. Now, let's talk about it. Let's have the conversations. Keep the conversation going, boys. I want to hear what's the best.
Brother, forgive me. I actually got to jump at 5. I need 5 minutes before the half. So I forgot to tell you when I came back after taking a piss.
So Johnny's gonna rock and roll. Jimmy, we're gonna wrap it up here. We've wrapped the conversation up. Just a quick little 20 seconds here, guys. Mastering intimacy, 10 ways to elevate it. You're gonna get after it, boys. You are going to sex the conversation. You want to check in during, after. You want to build the connection. Every woman's different. Know her body. Slow down, try some new things, do some solo practice, get some non-sexual touch, and spend a lot of time being patient and learn. John Anderson, there you go. Great show here today, buddy. Thanks for helping me out to kick this thing off. You get after it. And hey, listen, as per our conversation on Sunday, I got somebody for you. I'll come knock on your door later, okay?
Okay, brother. That sounds like a plan. Have a good loop.
You too, buddy. Appreciate it.
Brother. See you in the morning.
Johnny's going to get out of here, Jimmy, and I'm going to flip these tunes on. You know, these sultry sounds of... I like these sounds. These ones just... do you guys notice how the sounds change through the show? Because they're on purpose. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but I can hear them. They're kind of like this... They're meaningful... It's like an album. It's like an album. You know, you listen to an album from the beginning to the end, and it tells like a meaningful story, right? So we got the kickoff to the show, and then we have these little segment sounds, and then we do the Highland... what the hell do you call it there, Jimmy? Oh, yeah, the bagpipes. We got the Highland bagpipes that kick the second hour off. And then we have these sultry sounds of this Celtic kind of music is what it is. So now we're going to do Community Corner, Creator Spotlight. Yep, it's where we take somebody over on LinkedIn, Substack, X, any of the platforms, and we'd like to celebrate them. Jimmy, should I do the celebration with the glasses on or the glasses off today? What kind of content do we want to create today, Jimmy? We're going to get to the Creator Spotlight, Community Corner. And I'm going to just pull up my notes here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Looks like we got somebody. Yeah. Who's, Jimmy's like, keep the glasses. Hey, Jimmy, you know what we do? We'll keep the glasses. We're going to have some fun with this one, boys. And to keep the glasses, I'll shoot some of the Creator Spotlight through the lenses of these glasses. So let's start it. Hey, Meta, shoot a video. All right, Jimmy, here we go, brother. I'll shoot you the video. We'll do a little back and forth for this Creator Spotlight. This human's like, hey, the guy reads a script. Jimmy, they're going to know my secrets now, man. Behind the scenes secrets of the lab. Yes, I have words in front of me, guys. Most of the show is 99.999% improv. But now you guys are all seeing my words in front of me. Jimmy, we've just fucking blown the curtains off the illusion. Ah! All right. So for most people, money is like a long lost language. Yeah. One they never were taught, but somehow expected to be fluent in. Were you one of those guys? I got to know about money. Nobody taught me about it. How do I spend? How do I save? Nobody taught me about money. Let's be real. Most financial advice feels like it was written by Jimmy. Robots. Robot. Save more, spend less. Invest wisely. Save more, spend less. Invest wisely. Repeat. That is what we have been taught. Cool. Yeah. But then what? What if money wasn't just about accumulating more, but about using it to build a life that actually feels good? That's where this creator comes in. Jimmy, I didn't say his name yet. He's not here to throw jargon at you. Nope. He's not here about fear-based budgeting. He's not here to pretend he's the wealthy barber. Hey, a little plug for the book. He's not here about fear-based budgeting. Nope. And he's definitely not telling you to skip your morning latte. This guy helps women take control of their money in a way that makes sense for them. He flips the script on financial planning, less stress and more purpose. So Jimmy, let's do this. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is really excited to celebrate. In the lab, I'm getting the buttons ready, Jimmy. In the lab, we are going to celebrate today Jimmy? Billy Zerillo. Yes. There's a little pause. There's a little pause. There's a little pause. So listen, what's the point of wealth if it doesn't align with the life you want? Billy's approach, money with meaning. Yeah, wealth with attention. Financial freedom without the guilt. You think you're bad with money? Billy is going to prove you wrong. You feel like you've never have enough? Well, Billy will help you define what that actually means. You think financial planning is boring? Well, not when Billy's involved. Kind of a handsome dude too. I'm just suspecting he's not going to be boring at all. Yeah, because money isn't just about numbers. Yes, Billy, I just did call you a handsome dude because you are a handsome dude. I'm checking out your profile. I'm like, yeah, this dude's a handsome dude. I can go hang out with a handsome dude who can help me with money. A handsome dude who can help me with money is the whole reason why you might want to hang out with Billy Zerillo. Because if you think financial planning is boring, not when this dude is involved. Because money isn't just about the numbers. It's about what you do with it. And with Billy Zerillo in your corner, you're going to do something amazing. So nation, I would invite you to check out Billy Zerillo's profile on LinkedIn. Go find him. And if you want some help with money, like a long lost language, go talk to Billy Zerillo. He'll help you out. He's our creator spotlight, Jimmy, for today's Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Billy, here's how it works, brother. Jimmy, I got to go for a pee, man. I got to get to this quick. Are we going to make this part of the segment, Jimmy? Billy, here's how it works. We want to have you on the show to celebrate somebody in your orbit, because I know there is somebody in your orbit. You're like, oh, yeah, that dude, that lady, that person's doing great work, and I want to celebrate them. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to invite you to the lab. We're going to say, hey, come on to the lab and celebrate somebody. Mornings in the Lab, create a spotlight. So Billy Zerillo, the invite is over to you. Come on our show, and we want to help you celebrate that next person. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Okay, Jim, I got to roll, man. I'm doing the belly dance here. We're going to get out of here. And, nope, there it is there. On behalf of Keith, Jimmy, Marty, and the rest of the gang, Mornings in the Lab, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the morning loop, we get after it. See you guys tomorrow. Jimmy, I got to roll. Let's go.